What's up, everyone? We're live. Okay, here we go. First time Kinetic Chaos being recorded. And are you ready to rumble?
Indeed.
Okay. Everything looks good. Sounds are off. Okay. And here we go. 3, 2. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Will with Kinetic Chaos Podcast number 26, joined as always by my good friend Wes.
Here I am.
Here he is. He actually answered me rather quickly this time, rather than leaving me hanging. Well, no. We are joining you from the secret bunker that actually we just shined a little light on. Right before we went on the air, we hit record. We did a nice little Facebook Live feature that was a heck of a lot of fun. This episode will be our very first one posted to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find the link for that in the show notes for this show on our Facebook page and on our website, kineticchaos.com. And for those that are listening, I want to paint the picture for you. We actually had to rotate our tables to 45 degrees, am I right? No, 90 degrees.
90, yeah.
90 degrees. Look
right.
at the brain on Brad.
Yeah,
exactly. So we rotated 90 degrees so that we are now facing west at the secret bunker on the 18th fairway. And so we have all of the golfers out to our right. We've been accosted by possibly 2 balls. That didn't sound too good, but we did have a couple clanging around in the bushes that are in the trees up there. But the reason we changed everything is that we are, like I said, recording this, and we've got the camera at an angle so that everyone can take advantage of the view that we used to have. We want to give you guys the angle and the ability to see what we usually see, and we still get a nice little version of the course off to our right.
We're facing the green now, 18th green.
Yeah.
Right there,
Okay. So we can talk.
Yeah, that's right.
And Jim, hello, friends. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah.
Can you whistle in the background while I announce? No, that's not what the kind of birds are in Augusta. So, well, as always, we start off with something good that happened. I'm going to take the lead on this one because I get to say my son graduated from high school last night.
Nice.
Heck of an accomplishment for my son Brandon. So proud of him. I know that I've talked about it and I won't go on too long about it. But yeah, he graduated last night, and the cool thing is tomorrow he starts his very first day as a full-time employee at Les Schwab Tire Center. So begin a wonderful career there, hopefully. And if you guys are ever looking for a job, you've got to work your ass off. I'll give you that. If you want a good job with amazing benefits down the road, you might want to look at Les Schwab because they have incredible benefits. So anyway, that's what happened good to me since the last time recorded. Wes, what do you got?
A good thing for me is I've booked 2 excursions. We got
2?
two, yes.
I just held up my hand. For those that are listening, you can't see
So
it.
I booked a whitewater rafting trip
Nice.
for my dad and I. It's a combination Father's Day / 70th birthday present for
him.
He's going to hit the big 7-0 this year.
Really?
So we're going whitewater rafting, just he and I. And then the second thing we got booked yesterday or a couple days ago was a quick little 3-day weekend to the beach.
Yeah, buddy. Go ahead and you want to let him know?
Mr. Will might also be there at the same
no
time.
Mind. I'll be there.
Oh, he'll be there. Okay.
Come hell or high water.
All right.
Barring some tragic event, I will absolutely be there.
So we're going to set up some tables in the crashing waves and broadcast in.
No, we're not wearing Speedos.
Oh, okay.
No, okay. If you want to hit the banana hammock, go ahead, brother. But they may ask us not to record that one on film for both of us. But no, that's we got that coming up in August, right?
That's right. Second weekend of August.
Yeah. So in August, look for I don't know when it will drop, but we're going to try to do 2 or 3 episodes, maybe get some food reviews in and things like that. So we'll have that upcoming. And actually, look, we just started our first food review last weekend. Brandon and Derek and I did it on a cool little place in Vancouver called El Buen Gusto. I don't know if I like the restaurant because of the name and the way I can pronounce it.
Does it roll off the tongue?
El Buen Gusto. Or if it's the fact that their food is awesome. Probably let's go with the food is awesome. So if you have a chance, it's up St. John's, up from 500, and it's at the corner of 52nd and St. John's in Vancouver. And actually this weekend, we'll go ahead and announce that too. We're doing another food review. of a neat little place in Portland. I've never been there. Wes, have you been there?
Nope, never been there.
We've never been there, but it's called Matt's Barbecue. We are both barbecue aficionados, so we're going to go give that a shot. And I think my dad's going to join us. Derek's going to join us. I think Derek will probably be our cameraman for that. Yeah. And we got to figure out where we're actually going to record.
They got picnic tables in the parking lot. It's a food, for those who don't know, it's a food cart with some picnic tables in the parking lot, so might have to just commandeer a table and set up shop.
I wonder if we'll need some. I'm sure Portland is going to make us buy some kind of permit.
Yeah, probably so.
We might have to go to a park somewhere.
Some sort of use tax.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, with that, let's get into a good news story. I don't know that. Okay, we'll go ahead and tell them the story, and then I will.
You're the old school, no.
Oh, absolutely.
No cavorting with the other team.
Tap dance on their grave.
So this was in Minnesota. This is a high school baseball team. The backstory is these two teams were vying for a spot in the state championship. The pitcher on the mound, this was down to the final out of the game, the pitcher on the mound facing the hitter, the two of them, obviously on opposite teams, are childhood best friends. They grew up together, and now they are opponents, each battling it out, trying to get to the state championship. So the pitcher strikes the batter out to end the game, and the dugout mobs the field. Everybody starts celebrating, and instead of celebrating with his team, he makes a beeline for his buddy, his childhood friend who he just struck out, and gives him a hug at the plate. And I know where you're coming from the peer standpoint, but they're kids too, you know.
Okay, how old are they?
High school, so I don't know.
Oh, see, now, if I thought you were going to tell me they were like 9 or
Little
10.
league?
Yeah. High school? Nah. I've been through too many high school games where I've got to go and, like I said, tap dance on their grave. Having a big time, but the thing is that with friendship, it creates a rivalry, in my opinion. You want to naturally beat your friend, but in a way that is kind of fun, of not I guess not in a malicious way is the best way to put it. But for me, it's like you want to. It's fine to celebrate, and it's fine to you don't want to be egregious about it. And I'm not one that actually is not in somebody's face. Oh, suck it! Unless it's one of my friends, like we were talking about yesterday. And all the guys, if you're listening, anyone that plays poker against me, that's probably where I really created that rivalry and the desire to destroy my opponent, even if it's one of my best friends. It gets ingrained in your head, and it's really hard to beat out of your head. What do you think, though? I mean,
I see it both ways. I mean, I can see.
I see the heartwarming side of it, absolutely. But it feels like competition is eroding to me. Okay, last night's a perfect example at graduation. There's no more valedictorian or salutatorian.
That's a whole different ball of wax there.
Yeah, but for me, I ball it all together.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's a joke that they did away with that.
The competition, part of what makes America great is our competitiveness. And the fact that we want to beat everyone in the world or in the city or whatever, whether it's our elections, whatever. You own a company, you're a podcaster, you want to get the best stats you can.
But I think they also do that under the guise of not necessarily so much at the competition side, but they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, which really drives me nuts too.
That's the thing is that, okay, so these kids get out of high school and it's ever been, everybody's buddy and no one is better than anyone else and everything's equal. And then they step out of high school like my son did last night, and the real world is waiting for them just to beat the tar out of them. Yep. There are no participation trophies in real life as an adult. It's you either make it or you don't. And that's what I don't like to see. We create this attitude where people think that because they're not used to losing. Right. They haven't built that. It is a mechanism within. It's a safety mechanism that your brain, whenever something bad happens, you remember that, and you have to cope with it. You create a coping skill. If they don't have that coping skill, and Johnny and Freddie get the promotions over little Jimmy's going to go out and who knows how he's going to handle it, but he can't handle it.
He's not equipped to handle it.
Yeah, he's not equipped to handle it. So I know that I kind of make light of it, but I think it's a serious issue. I will look at this as one one issue, and yeah, it's kind of heartwarming.
You
that
let it
he
slide
doesn't.
this time?
Well, oh, I guarantee you this isn't the only time this kind of crap
Oh, yeah.
happens, though. Well, that's what I say. I mean, if they're young, that's fine. But in high school, you should have that. You should want to go out and beat somebody. And hopefully the guy that he struck out wasn't trying or something
Right.
like that. Because let's have a little perspective. It's a game.
Yep.
There are things in life that are far more serious than that. So, well, we obviously just scored wee on that one. But so we know that we need to jump into.
Oh, we don't have
Damn
this
it.
bucket out here today. We missed that.
9:58. 7 minutes longer than last episode that I made.
It's a new world record.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, this one is AT&T and Time Warner have cleared all the regulatory hurdles, am I correct? On the
Yeah,
merger?
the judge gave him the A-OK on it, and the other thing that was kind of surprising, with no conditions, he basically said, have at it, we're not setting any conditions, and the judge implored the federal government to stay out of it, basically saying, don't try to argue with me, this should be the final ruling, let him go.
Really?
Yeah. So,
How does the judge get away with that?
yeah,
He's
well,
not
yeah.
the Supreme Court.
right, whether or not he will get away with that, I'm sure we'll still get some skirmishes within the government with antitrust kind of stuff. But yeah, judge cleared the deal. The deal is, this is AT&T basically, they're calling it a merger, but AT&T is basically buying Time Warner for all intents and purposes. It's an $85 billion deal. So
These numbers
pocket
that get
change.
thrown around. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? And this is what it shows me. It shows me that how, I guess, kind of naive I am to what companies I think are bigger than other ones, because in my opinion, I thought Time Warner, I mean, it's AOL Time
yeah,
Warner.
yeah, you'd think
They
it'd
were,
be, yeah.
I thought they were one of the biggest companies on earth, and then AT&T is just a horrible cell phone company. But-
AOL probably sunk their ship though.
Right.
Drug them down when they bought AOL.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't. Yeah, no, I don't know. But no, I just, I didn't understand how big AT&T really
Yeah.
was, and how big mobile really is.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, we see Verizon, they're taking over the world. Now you can go, if anyone's an Xfinity customer, I'm not a big Xfinity fan, but if you look at their mobile plan, they use all Verizon's hours. It's $45 a month for unlimited data and $12 a month for 1 gig, and that's it. There's
Wow.
no sign-up fees, no regulatory fees, just taxes. That's it.
Wow.
So if you want to get into a cell phone for approximately $60 or $57 a month, you can do that for 2 cell phones.
Oh, that too.
That's 2 cell
Oh,
phones.
okay.
One on unlimited, one on a 1
On a
gig
gig.
plan, unlimited text, unlimited talk, all that stuff,
Wow.
and you're always around hotspots anyway.
Right.
So anyone that wants a cheap cell phone bill and already has Xfinity, check that out. Do we have anything else on AT&T?
No.
I think that one's. I think that. Well, evidently the judge says we can't talk.
Well,
about it.
yeah,
He
the-
actually sent us a cease and desist.
Yeah,
letter as
we
well.
just this came across the wire. But yeah, I don't anticipate this going completely smoothly. I bet somebody tries to throw a wrench in things because this is obviously a huge deal. So I imagine some committee in the Senate or whatever is going to have something to say about this.
There's an oversight committee.
Yeah.
That's an oversight committee of the oversight committee, because they probably have meetings about meetings as well. Well, next one up. Sorry. President Obama sent the Palestinians $221 million hours. I don't know how many hours before he left office. This is a little salacious.
Yeah, this is interesting. Evidently, it's something that he had been wanting to do for some time, and Republican leaders kept hammering on him, saying, don't you dare do this. Don't give him this money.
What was the money
Because
for? Are you going to get to it?
No, what it's supposedly just for the usual. I'm trying to say
Like assistance?
yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, I guess. Yeah, just the usual scope of things that they always use it as an excuse for. But basically, he was getting pressured. I think this had been going on for a couple years. His last couple years in office, getting heavy pressure from the Republicans not to do it, and so he waited until literally the last day, a few hours before he was out,
Really?
and signed off on the authorization to ship him $221 million
Are you kidding
as
me?
a little parting gift out the door. So
And how did we pay for that? I mean,
Yeah, that's-
$221 million.
Yeah.
We might be able to use that here in the United States. I bet you Seattle should call him and see if they can get a loan too.
So you couple that with the pallet full of cash that he sent Iran on the Iran nuke deal, that big joke. So yeah, it's
Pallet full of cash.
We're spending money right and left that we don't have, and we're giving it to people that hate us. So this is perfect.
Yeah, it works out really well. And to say that they hate us is very true. Problem is that I'm sure it greased palms.
Oh yeah,
that's what it did.
There's always a reason for something.
Yeah. I mean, it probably wasn't used for humanitarian.
Thank you, humanitarian. That's the word I was looking for.
Humanitarian.
Yeah, it was too big of a word.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't see that. It's kind of like, so I have a really good friend that served in Kenya. He was in the Peace Corps, and one of the big problems that they had in Kenya was that the U.S. would send humanitarian aid, and it would get gobbled up by the government. Yeah. And so then the U.S. would stop sending the aid, and then all of a sudden there would be all these, issues with humanitarian needs. Well, so then it's like this double-edged sword. Some of the money does trickle down to the people that need it, but overall it doesn't. It goes into a politician's pocket, and it pays for a Mercedes and probably not. I was going to say a snowmobile, but probably not in Kenya. Kenyan snowmobile sales are at an all-time low. I don't think that one's going to work out. So I don't like to hear that, but hopefully it did actually help somebody, because the Palestinian people, the ones that don't hate us so much, and there are a large number of them, I'm sure, they're probably thankful for it. It's just, I hope that it didn't get into the hands of Hamas or somebody like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, number 3 here, all it is titled is Tesla Trouble when I'm reading my headline here. Now, if this means that I don't get my damn flamethrower, which evidently they already started shipping them, I have not gotten it.
I know, and
I'm on the West Coast. I mean, it damn near, Elon could have just put it in that damn car and dropped it over my house.
Maybe they're coming from Kenya, though.
Okay,
so,
they've got a snowmobile. They're towing a snowmobile
from China or something.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
So what this is as Tesla's been having some financial issues for a little bit, so Elon came out and said he's going to try to cut the fat at the corporate level, the management level, and he announced that they're going to do a layoff of 9% of their workforce, which is
4,600.
Because they have 46,000 employees, so they're going to cut 9% of it. And they said the vast majority will be salaried management positions that they're getting rid of. They basically want to try to leave all the hourly production stuff untouched and just cut the fat up at the top, which is the right thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, middle management is always the first one to get cut. That's why it's always such a dangerous place to land.
Yep. So they've been having financial issues for a while now. Their Model 3 production had all those issues, and now they're going to cut 9%, because 9% is a big number.
Yeah, it's a huge number. You don't usually see that
kind
of stuff.
So it's going to be interesting to see if this is enough to help them right the ship and keep going. And because it always kind of makes me laugh is that he's getting so much government funding for all of his electric vehicles, all this stuff. So, I mean, not that nobody else is getting it either, but I'm saying the fact that he's getting a huge kickback from the government to do all this, and he's still having financial issues, kind of really goes to show that in and of itself, this entity is not viable on its own, because even with government assistance, they're still having trouble. So if there wasn't government assistance, they would probably be gone.
I think part of it also is that he is probably spread a little too thin.
Yes.
And I mean, I know that I'm just batshit crazy busy with my career, doing this, and just life in general. And he's doing it on a level that is 100x what I'm doing, and because he's trying to run SpaceX, he's trying to run Tesla, he's trying to run the Boring Company, and he's trying to run the Hyperloop Company, which I don't know the name of. Actually, that's the Boring Company.
Yeah.
I think he has one other one as well. But to run 4, or well, at least 3 major billion-dollar companies and try to remain at the helm of all of them, at some point, you would think he would say, I am the leader, but I'm going to let somebody that has the time actually step up and handle this stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just hubris, and maybe he thinks that he's that much smarter than everyone.
Yeah.
And we know that he's incredibly intelligent, but at some point, if you are, and that's why they went after him on the board. Yeah. They wanted him off was because he's so busy. But the bottom line is just get the damn flamethrower to me, and then you can quit. And you can let
then your company can go under.
Just bury it. Just give me my two Flamethrowers. Now, here's the funny thing. I've seen reports that they were selling from Elon for $500. I'm like, you guys got screwed because, or your flamethrower is way better than mine because I think mine were like $30 or something. It's not expensive. I'm gonna probably try to flip them on eBay right away.
There you go.
Because half of them won't work. They say Model 3 on the side. Well, that's I don't like to hear that those people are going to lose their jobs because I'm sure they're pretty high-paying jobs.
I would think so.
Well north of 200.
Yeah.
If you're going to be in the Silicon Valley or in Nevada or wherever the hell they are with their production facilities, you can't live there for under $200,000 a year, I would think. So hopefully those folks land on their feet easily. Well, Rick James said something that cocaine is a hell of a drug.
That's exactly what came to mind.
Yeah, and I think these millennials all are on the Rick James train because they believe, more than half of millennials believe that they will be millionaires at some point in their life. Which I guess you could, if you aggregated all the money they made, maybe, but not by definition.
So this was a recent study that was published in which they surveyed multiple millennials.
Like 4?
Thousands, maybe. Anyway, finding out that 53% of millennials believe that they will be millionaires. They will become millionaires.
Really?
And a couple other interesting stats that came out of this study. 25% of them don't want to get married.
Now, I don't find that hard to believe.
Right? And then going along with that, 30% don't want kids.
And this all goes back to selfishness.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's all of, and Wes and I did not talk about that. We were going to say selfishness.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Do you have more?
Well, I was going to say, is this maybe like the Fortnite video game fallout? You isolate yourself in your mom's basement, and you see these guys getting rich off of video games and doing stuff, and you think it's, you can just fly solo and make yourself a millionaire. And
I think it goes back to what we were talking about in the open, that this feel-good mentality of no one ever failing at anything. When you can't feel that failure as a kid and begin to develop those coping skills, I know that not that I'm ever thrilled, I was ever thrilled to lose, but I mean, I got my ass handed to me in wrestling when I was a freshman and sophomore in football. I mean, I got trucked. But it was the intestinal fortitude to suck it up and come back from those that has helped develop me as a person.
Right.
And so it's one of those where you've got to go through it. But if you go through life and everyone gets a ribbon, even though you took 87th place out of 86 people in the three-legged race, if you can't develop those, all you're going to do is,
Whoa. That was a close call.
Look at all the orange that guy's got on.
That's a beaver golfer for you. Hit the tree.
I love it. Go Beavs. But no, they're not going to be able to handle this stuff. And so, like you said, though, they also believe that life is lived by yourself.
Yeah.
Because as long as they've got one of these, I'm showing a phone for everyone at home. As long as they have one of those, they feel like they're quote unquote connected.
Right.
But they're really not. I mean, in anything, as we've spoken before about my hatred of social media. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship, but it's this, you create this illusion in the person's mind that they're actually connected to people, but they're actually insulating themselves from everything. Because if you don't hear a voice, whether it's on social media or talking to your friends or you're in a video game chat or whatever you do on Fortnite, you're not actually developing interpersonal skills, you're just yelling into a microphone.
Right.
Because part of interpersonal communication is actually seeing
face-to-face action,
non-verbal cues and things like that. You don't pick those up on a mic, even on, if you're Skyping with somebody. You're not getting that, oh, we got a shit. Shit. It almost sounded like I said, the Inside Edition start. No, but that's, so yeah, I think that they're crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
To think that 50% of the kids that are, what's that? Probably 50 million kids?
Oh, yeah.
20. So that's 25 million millionaires. 25 million. That guy is so orange and black. That is amazing. I wish we could get him over here on camera because he's got an
probably picked it up on frame for
hopefully
YouTube
you guys
with
can
him
see
flashing by with his streak of orange.
Yeah, he's got an orange golf cart. He's wearing an orange shirt, black pants. He's got orange and black club covers, and I believe part of his golf cart is black as well. No, that's pretty cool. Well, inflation. So these kids think they're going to be
Yeah.
millionaires, and we're going to go segue right into the fact that inflation is at a 6-year high. And kids, we've talked about it the last month. Get ready. This is, you can't have inflation like this.
Try to knock these kids down a peg, these millennials.
Right.
So yeah, inflation is at a 6-year high, and the Fed just raised the interest rate
Yesterday.
Yesterday or 2 days. Yeah,
Thought it was yesterday.
recently.
Quarter point.
Quarter point. And the consumer price index is at 2.8% higher than at this time last year.
Jeez, that's the CPI going up like that.
Yeah.
That's no good. And that's and interest rates on mortgages are going up, and you're going to see LIBOR will go up, which is tied to your credit cards and things like that.
Are you seeing any slowdown on the housing market?
Yeah, I am. I think
Less
that
buying?
I think it's really affecting the over 300 set because
Okay. Which is almost everything.
yeah, well in our
Up
area,
here, yeah.
if you look at anything in this area under 300,000, you might as well quit looking because it won't be livable by and large.
Yeah.
You might find a few places. There's a couple of pockets in Clark County where you can find stuff, but by and large, 300 is going to get you what 100 used to 15 years ago
Yeah.
would get you.
Yeah.
And so I think that the slowdown is coming there. But overall, we talked about the tariffs. Now we've got inflation, which hasn't even taken into account the tariffs yet.
Yeah, exactly.
We got the interest rates coming up, that whether it's the overnight that was raised yesterday, the 10-year T-note going up. I haven't looked at the yield on the 10 and the 2 to see if they're still inverted, but it's all shaping up for an ugly slide pretty soon. So, and now we're going to get into some previous stories that we want to update you on. This one we actually talked about. Well, it's been a couple months now.
Yeah, it's been
Our big
been quite a while
California
ago.
cessation. Not
Secession.
Secession, not cessation.
They're
That
not
would be-
quitting. Well, they could be quitting.
They
the
could be
United-
quitting the
yeah,
United
so
States.
it goes hand in hand, I guess. So.
Yeah.
So what this was, we talked about this before. A couple different initiatives they were gathering signatures for. One was the secession, the Cal exit.
Yep.
The other one was called Cal 3, which is just to split it into 3 different states. And lo and behold, the Cal 3 one got enough signatures, and it's going to be on the November ballot for all Californians.
Wow.
Even if it does pass, we talked about this before, there's still going to be that cooling off period where they're going to have to vote on it a year later. And even if it jumps through all those hurdles, then they still got to get through Congress because it has to be authorized by Congress if you're going to start messing with the states. Just a back piece of trivia on that. Last time this happened where a state split off,
It was in Texas. Was it Alaska? No, I don't know.
West Virginia, bailing
Really?
from Virginia. And that happened way back in 1863.
Wow.
So that was the last time it happened. It was right Civil War time, and West Virginia gathered up enough, not signatures back then, but got enough approval to break off from Virginia
A lot of
and
fancy calligraphy.
yeah,
on-
and form their own state. So yeah, last time this has happened was 1863. So now we're still a long way from it happening again. But the fact that it actually got enough signatures to make the ballot is a huge step because nothing like this has happened
No.
since 1863. Nothing's made it to the ballot.
That to
Before,
even,
so-
we didn't think that it had a very good shot at
Right.
actually making it to the ballot. We actually kind of thought it was a snowball chance in hell type situation, and for them to actually get that, but there are so many hurdles that they're going to have to
Oh,
pass
yeah.
for this to actually take effect. I mean, if they're going to pass one of the two, I would certainly like them to pass this one. I don't want them
Yeah,
to
not
break
this
away from
secession.
the nation.
Yeah.
Well, because that's just going to cause so many issues. If you want to go to Disneyland, you got to get a damn passport.
That's right.
What the hell is that about? But no, so if they're going to choose one, I think this is absolutely the better choice.
Right.
But when we get down to it, why do we need to create 2 more extra bureaucracies in one of the most bureaucratic areas of the nation?
Yeah.
What is that? It's not going to serve a purpose. But like I was saying, there are so many hurdles. So now, if it does pass in November, then they have to wait another year.
They had talked about, and it was written originally into the initiative. Whether or not that still holds true, I'm not sure. But the initial initiative stated that if it were to pass on a ballot, there would be a 1-year cooling off period, and then they would vote on it again the following November as a, are you still sure you want to do this kind of a thing?
Kind of
So,
a Brexit type
yeah,
thing, but
yeah.
Caxit? No, Calaxit.
Well, it was Cal exit was
Cal
the
exit,
was
yeah.
the secession one that didn't get enough signatures.
Yeah, well, and I still don't think. Okay, so let's do what we always do.
Putting a wager on this.
Yeah. We don't have to wager in it. We can put
just
odds.
Odds, okay. Of it passing?
Yeah.
Oh boy, 35-65.
You're gonna give it that high?
Yeah, I had trouble with it.
Really?
But, yeah.
I'm gonna go 20-80.
Yeah, that could be.
Or 80-20 that it doesn't. You know, or
28, 80 nay.
4-1 that it doesn't happen. I just can't. In fact, I may go to 9-1.
Yeah.
I think it is really, really a tall order to believe that they would actually get this passed.
But the other thing is that they got enough signatures to get it on the ballot, so evidently there's enough people that want to see it.
But we've proven that signature
yeah.
gathering is one of the most crooked things on earth.
Yeah.
You have paid people. In fact, unfortunately I had to go to Wally World a few weeks ago, and some clown was out in front of it trying to get me to pass some signs. What I love is that, sorry, I've just completely cut myself off there, but when they ask you, they tell you some ambiguous thing like, oh, to lower taxes. Sign this to lower taxes. Well, no, tell me what the hell I'm signing. Oh, I'm signing it. You know, I'm going to legalize heroin or something like that, and they're going to lower the I don't know, the sales tax by 0.08% or something. But I just that's obnoxious.
Yeah, it is.
I think that I don't think it's going to happen though. I mean,
yeah, definitely
9-1 is still.
Yeah.
I would, if somebody gave me 9-1 on that, I don't know that I would take that. I really don't. So, well, the last one here in the previous stories that we want to get updated is that there was an apology. So,
which is shocking from the Trump administration.
I know,
there was an
absolutely.
apology.
Go ahead, just take it.
So this coming from the G7 summit that we talked about last podcast, where after Trump left, his senior trade advisor Peter Navarro had accused Trudeau of stabbing Trump in the back and changing the language of what was said, and ended with saying that there's a special place in hell for people like Trudeau.
Which we talked about was obnoxious.
Yeah, and so now obviously the blowback has hit him full force because, shockingly, for a Trump official, he actually came out and apologized for insulting Trudeau.
Wow, I am honestly taken
I'm
by
shocked.
surprise.
Yeah, I'm surprised, very surprised.
I think it's good because as we discussed on the last episode, it was not a good look for us whatsoever to be. I don't know. It's just you can say other things and get your point across, whether it's passive aggressive. I guess you could say at least he wasn't passive aggressive, but in my opinion, it's one of those things that you can't do that. I think it is good that he went through and he apologized, but did Trudeau respond?
No, I haven't seen a response from him yet. He may just let it go and not, engage.
He's still working on his eyebrow.
Oh yeah, well you got to get that fixed. He's in the repair shop right now.
We've got him up on blocks.
Yeah.
Old Trudeau's up there. They're I don't know. I can just see kind of a Luke Skywalker, Star Wars. They're attaching his arm, and then in the next day, Trudeau's getting his mechanical eyebrow hooked up so he can raise it like the Rock. If you smell what the poutine is cooking. Well, the poutine was anyway. Well, right now we're gonna end the previous story updates, and we're gonna actually go right into Hojo's hot take right here. So I will drop that in. Everyone, please listen up. Hojo's hot take right now. Okay, we're back from Hojo's hot take. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It's trifecta time. The summit, our favorite topic of discussion for damn near, 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's been going on for a while now. It's still providing the fodder.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's going to keep feeding the flames.
Oh,
yeah. We won our bets with ourselves that it actually happened. So what do you got for us here on the update?
So basically, the high-level details that have come out of this was that North Korea has agreed to dismantle their nukes in exchange for easing of the sanctions, and immediately everybody jumped on the Trump delegation, the administration, saying, "Oh, how could you, ease off on these sanctions and all that kind of stuff." And now it's come out. Pompeo, the Secretary of State, has announced further details saying that the sanctions will remain in place until it's verifiable that they have dismantled all their nukes.
Good.
Then